No, but we won the 2022 Best Mixed Use Precinct in Australia.
Wow.
And that was voted on by 14 judges from 14 different countries. So people are not always heading to the office 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. They might work at home 2 or 3 days a week. That ability to work from home, but not within your property, has become a real functional benefit. Well, we've got in excess of 240 contracts signed before we even had this display open that we're sitting in now.
I'm here with Michael Koschar from OSK Property.
Thanks for having us.
Mate, thanks for having us too. Look, tell us a bit about the project. We're here at the OSK Property Boulevard display.
Yep.
Tell us about the site.
Well, we're right here in the middle of the Arts Precinct in Melbourne, so it's certainly a premium location. You can actually see the Arts Centre Spire from out of our display, so it's nothing bad to look at every day. Well, we've just opened this display last week, so it's only been a couple of days that we've been open, but the site here is on the corner of Kavanagh and Bolston Street in Southbank. This site covers around about 21,000, just a touch over 21,000 square metres. So it's a massive site of huge importance, not only for us, but also the council and the City of Melbourne. Anytime you develop such a large site in the arts precinct of a city, it's going to get a little bit of attention, and certainly it was no different for us selling our stage one. But the beauty of being here is that you can literally forget the car. You can walk to almost anywhere you need to get to. Here we've got the 2-storey Woolworths downstairs under our stage one. We've got a Nido childcare, which is also quite a huge benefit for locals that live around here. They can drop the kids off and perhaps take the tram into the city to get to work. So we're seeing a huge change in how people are living and how they're sort of choosing to live in this area. For us as a developer, it was extremely important that we found sort of a large enough site that enabled us to build, to an extent, a city within a city. Not just a singular site where we put up one tower with limited sort of open space and amenity. We wanted to create something here that enabled us to build a park, a shopping precinct, a mixed use precinct. I don't know if you know, but we won the 2022 Best Mixed Use Precinct in Australia.
Wow.
And that was voted on by 14 judges from 14 different countries as well. So that's something that we're extremely proud of as a developer as well.
That's one of the great things when developers like OSK are really thinking through the overall kind of living experience where, it's so important to have the childcare, shopping centres and supermarkets and so forth where, they talk about the 15-minute neighbourhood out in the master plan communities.
That's come from the COVID period.
That's come from the COVID period, but when we kind of look at it here, there's kind of all of those things within a couple of minutes walk. And I think the other thing that's really handy is just coming to the site today was just the accessibility where you can go straight onto the highway and you're off to whatever adventure awaits.
Well, as you mentioned, the 15-minute neighbourhood, that's become extremely important, not just post-COVID more so, but even before then, a lot of people are more aware of what does their building or their immediate area have to offer. So with our new release Boulevard, for an example, we've got a co-working quarter within that building now. So people are not always heading to the office 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. They might work at home 2 or 3 days a week. That ability to work from home, but not within your property, has become a real functional benefit. And we've seen a huge uptake of young professionals buy into Boulevard because we've got that double-storey co-working quarter within the building.
Yeah, I think we often talk about how much experience counts for a lot in property development. And I think, for buyers, sometimes, when they're buying brand new property off the plan, one of the kind of leaps of faith that people need to take is on the execution of the work. Yep. But I think what's different about this development is that you've got 2 towers right next to it in terms of being able to see the quality of the project. Was it delivered? How did the render versus the reality look? And, from everything that I've seen, those projects have been smash hits, and OSK's really kind of delivered on what they said they're going to do.
Absolutely. Well, we've got in excess of 240 contracts signed before we even had this display open that we're sitting in now. So all we had to rely on was taking people through exactly what you mentioned, our stage one. People would go through our stage one. We've got a number of furnished apartments there to show people what we've delivered, and that's enabled them to have enough confidence to put their money down and purchase a property here. It's also a huge reflection on the value that our channel partners see, and our agent partners and our retail team and the general public for that matter, that they've got over 240 sales since about Easter this year. So the uptake has been extremely strong.
We've worked together on the previous towers as well. One of the things I love about OSK is just the frequency of the updates and the transparency in the process. I think previously where, projects have come unstuck in the market more broadly, and that hasn't happened for a while, but the area that does seem to happen is when developers have less experience, they have a less experienced team, they don't provide the kind of updates. There's little to kind of evidence of them delivering it before. But here, where you've got the high frequency updates coming from the developer, you've got the ability to see established, completed apartments in the exact same precinct. That gives buyers confidence. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. In this day and age, when the financial world has tightened up quite a lot, to be dealing with a strong, reputable company that can deliver as promised, not just deliver a display or a glossy brochure, that goes a long way. We also have the Malaysian EPF, which is the Employees Provident Fund of Malaysia. They have a 49% stake in our overall development. Now, in Malaysia, it's a bit different to Australia. There's only one superannuation fund in Malaysia, and they have control the majority of the funds there. So they normally don't go into a development that is a bit dubious or a bit risky.
Yeah.
So they've come into this with full confidence, having a 6 to 8 year plan that we will deliver solid returns for them and also their shareholders as well.
That's amazing. And so tell me a bit about who are the buyers that are kind of coming through the display? Obviously it's one of the most popular projects on our platform. What is it? Who are you seeing that's coming through?
We didn't sort of build this project to cater for any particular sort of demographic, but what we've seen at the moment with our larger apartments, a lot of them have nice views, a lot of them have extra storage rooms, etc. So we're seeing a huge proportion of owner-occupiers coming through, which historically wasn't usually the case with off-the-plan sales. You'd normally have a larger proportion of investors coming in. But we've seen a number of our domain residences, which are our larger units above level 56, going to sort of downsizers in the market. So owner-occupiers, downsizers, people that have come from neighbouring suburbs like South Melbourne, Albert Park, Port Melbourne, into a city pad that sort of suits their lifestyle at that point. But on top of that, we've also seen a lot of first home buyers looking to get into the market. The 2.5 year time frame to completion gives them some time to sort of get their funds ready, gives them a bit of time to sort of get into the market as well. And of course, this area with its extremely strong rentals, the investor market's always a proportion of it as well. So it really covers all bases, to be honest.
One of the cool things about living in Melbourne, why I kind of moved over here from New Zealand, is that the arts and culture and sport and just so many amazing things to do here. And unless you're kind of in amongst it a little bit, you can miss out. And people will be able to walk to shows, and whether it's the theatre or a music event or a sporting event, the development really unlocks the best of what Melbourne has to offer, as well as all the dining options too.
We did a little research the other week, and you can walk to within 80 cafes and restaurants within 5 minutes of our development.
Wow.
So it's a huge walking score that this site gets. In fact, it gets around about a 96 walk score out of 100. So it means you can literally do all of your daily essentials without having to jump in the car. And that's a massive point. But getting back to your sort of arts and entertainment comment, when you're in the arts precinct of any city in the world, it doesn't matter which city it is, if it's Paris, New York or London or Melbourne, if you've got property in the arts precinct, it's normally pretty tightly held. South Bank is only 1.7 square k's, so it's a small finite parcel of land. We are developing 20-odd thousand square metres of land here. So once this is all done, you'll see real value start to change around here.
That's amazing. Well, Michael, we're super stoked to be partnered with you guys on the project. We think OSK is doing a great job and a great service to the market. So I appreciate you taking the time and coming to chat with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in.